For our first question, each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond, and we'll start with Kelly and go clockwise to Kirsten and then John. The first question is, what in your past has shaped your beliefs about diversity, equity, and inclusion? And what specifically have you done to make our school district and community more diverse, equitable, and inclusive?
Wow, that's a really good question. I grew up in Lake Oswego, and as you probably all know, our community has become more diverse since 1977, and that's a good thing. And I'm new to this the diversity, equity, and inclusion piece of the school board, and I look forward to really working hard to really do a better job with our kids. And that really starts with empathy. We need to teach our kids empathy. We need to focus on educating everybody and really setting a good example for our kids. And that really starts at home and transfers over to our schools.
Thank you. So in my past, what shaped my beliefs around diversity, equity, and inclusion? Is that a good summary? Different question. Fair? All right. Well, growing up in Oregon and then moving to Atlanta, Georgia to go to grad school, that was a complete and different experience, and I wanted it so badly. It was the only school I applied to for grad school because I wanted to experience something outside of the West Coast and outside of Eugene and Oregon and not being as diverse. And I think going someplace where it was way more diverse and then coming back actually helped me see the diversity that does exist in Oregon. And it's not in Atlanta, Georgia, but there is immense history, lived history and experience here. And I think just having that perspective and then bringing that into my work that I do every day at the Public Health Division has really shaped how I think about this and how I invite every day seeing people as all of who they are and the whole person and the whole student, which I'll talk more about, I'm sure, because that is a really important value of mine. And then what I've done, there's a couple things that I've been really excited about, but working on the Lake Oswego Schools Foundation with very great intention this year, I think we are going to have one of the most diverse additions of board members that the foundation has experienced.
Well, I grew up in California. I grew up in Oakland. I went to elementary school. It was a very diverse population. I'd say about 40% white, maybe 30% African American. A lot of mixed race kids on my street and in my school. It was, this is what I knew. This was my childhood. This was growing up. I played with all kinds of kids. We did all, I won't say I didn't know. It would be foolish to say I didn't know people who were different. I knew people had different experiences and different lives, but this was part of my upbringing. And then in middle school, we moved to New Orleans, and I went to a private school that was mostly white. And I could see the difference. I brought a different experience to that than other people had, I think, that had grown up only in that segregated private school that I was in. When in college, I came back to California, and again, I experienced a more diverse population, and then we moved here to Oregon. I've seen the variety, and I know it's important to have exposure, and I know it's important to have different experiences. And so that's really shaped my experience here, I think, on the school board as we form this committee on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I see it's a critical focus for our schools and for our community as a whole. That's something I want to continue. We made it a permanent committee. I'm committed to having that committee do its work on curriculum, on climate, and on policy that will shape our schools for the future.